Psychopaths, sociopaths, you've probably heard of these terms. Maybe you've used them casually in a conversation, but have you ever wondered what they really mean? Could someone you know be one of them and you wouldn't even know it, not even realize it? Maybe you could be one of. In today's video, we are breaking down the key differences between psychopath and sociopath, how these traits show up in everyday life, and how they manipulate people for their own personal gain. We'll break down a few myths and the shocking truth about them. And by the end of the video, I'll give you tips on how to spot them, so make sure to stay tuned. Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Caroline Gitaji. My co-host Fluffy. If you're a member of the channel, you know him, you know of him. We are feeling much better as per our previous video. Thank you for joining us, and today we are going to be discussing psychopaths and sociopaths. We'll look at the signs, help you find out if there's one in your life, if you're one of them. And yeah, let's get started. First, let's break down the differences. People use the word psychopath and sociopaths as if to mean the same thing, but these two kinds of individuals have a very huge difference. Let us start by differentiating the two. Psychopaths, the cold manipulator. They are born this way. Psychopaths are typically born with neurological and genetic factors that affect their behavior. Another characteristic would be they're emotionally detached. Because of this neurological component, they lack empathy, guilt, and remorse. They are highly manipulative. They know how to charm and deceive. That's why you could know someone is or has psychopathic tendencies and you'll still end up being manipulated by them. They are planned and calculative. They act very strategically and do not make any impulsive decisions or impulsive moves. Everything they do is calculated. Having discussed these 5 character traits of the psychopath, we'll move on to sociopath. And unlike the psychopath, the sociopath is made by the environment. They typically develop these traits from childhood traumas, from neglect, from abuse, and this is why I keep emphasizing in all my videos the importance of seeking help and seeking professional help, as this could affect you in one way or another. Sociopaths are also very impulsive. They act out of anger and frustration, often without thinking or processing the outcome or the consequences of their action, but being led by this feeling and this very heavy emotion that they're going through. Sociopaths, unlike psychopaths, can form some attachments. They form limited attachments to people, to places, and they often end up harming or being the cause of harm in these relationships that they have tried to nurture. That being said, they are also very disorganized and reckless. Acting out of impulse is very reckless. Their behavior is often very messy and unplanned because they act from emotion and not from a place of planning. To put it simply, psychopaths are out here playing chess while sociopaths are out playing checkers, and both of these parties are very good at whatever game it is they're playing. One plans ahead and thinks strategically, while the other is impulsive and without regard of consequence. The psychology of psychopaths. So what makes psychopaths? Studies show that the brains of psychopaths work differently. They have an underactive amygdala. And that's the part of the brain that helps process fear and emotions. This means they do not feel emotions like other normal human beings. How does this go into affecting their behavior? They do not show real emotions. as we have discussed, underactive amygdala. Psychopaths do not feel guilt, they do not feel fear, they do not feel sadness. They are good at faking emotions. Because of not feeling these emotions, they are good at mimicking emotions that they see from other people, because they do not have the capacity to feel those emotions, and they know that these emotions are important towards manipulating the outcome. Psychopaths also do not have fear of consequences. They are willing to take huge risks, even if it means hurting other people, even if it means affecting other people's life in ways that they generally do not care about. This is the reason why psychopaths can commit very heinous crimes and they do not show remorse. But here's the thing, not all psychopaths are criminals. Some use their traits to climb the social ladder, some use their traits to be very successful at what they do. The examples we've given in politics, in business, and in law. We'll move on to the mind of our sociopath. They are a bit different. While psychopaths are cold and calculating, sociopaths are more impulsive and act out of raw emotions. Akikasirika, anafanya what they feel like doing in that moment of anger. They do not process it, they just go ahead and do it. How does this affect their behavior? Sociopaths get angered easily, are triggered easily, and they often react from a point of aggression. Anger is an emotion that a lot of us have a problem with processing, but for them, they do not process it, they use it, and immediately they are triggered. Aggression is always the answer. They're very impulsive in their decision-making process. There's no process to it. As we said, it's led by emotions. They do not think before acting, which can lead to very reckless behavior, spontaneous, reckless behavior. They also have a disregard for rules. They don't care about authority. They do not care about laws. They do not care about social norms. If they feel like doing it, if their anger tells them this is what should happen, that's what ends up happening. Unlike psychopaths, who are very careful and they plan and they think about their actions, sociopaths are more spur of the moment decisions. They act fast and deal with the consequences after, often leading to their downfall. Because if you act from a point of anger, if you act from a point of recklessness without considering the consequences of your actions, definitely at some point that will lead you to the wrong path. How do they manipulate you? So here's the scary part. Psychopaths and sociopaths can manipulate anybody. It happens right in front of our eyes every single day. And if we are not careful or observant, it can happen to the best of us. There are three common tactics that both psychopaths and sociopaths use to manipulate. And there are more than three, but I'll discuss the three main ones that they use for their manipulation. All these three tactics that we're going to discuss are some things that have been thrown around, words that have been thrown around a lot, and most of us know the meanings of all this, but it still doesn't stop manipulation from happening. The first one is gaslighting. This is where someone makes you doubt your own reality. For example, in some relationships, a partner might deny their own action, they might deny their own words, causing you to question your perception of things, causing you to question your brain, your mind, and everything. And that is a strategy that works really well with everybody who manipulates. The second manipulation tactic is love bombing, and this has been talked about a lot in all social media platforms. It gets us so easily because a lot of us view it as love and appreciate the bombs as they come. This is where they overwhelm you with affection to get what they want from you. then they disappear once they have already gotten it. We've all heard about manipulative boyfriends, manipulative girlfriends, or even scam artists doing this. They sell you the grand scheme, and once you buy into it, you end up giving them what they want, and immediately they get it. They're out of the picture and you're left high and dry. The last tactic I'm going to discuss is not as common as the other two. It's called triangulation. Picture a triangle. This is using third parties to create conflict or control a situation. There's you, there's them, then there's somebody else. Think of someone, for example, using social media to turn people against you or against each other for their own personal benefit. That's triangulation. You've probably all encountered people like this. People who seem to charm their way through life, or to charm their way into your life only to leave you feeling manipulated, to leave you feeling used. And in some cases, they're out there they take your money, they destroy your relationships, they destroy your reputation, and by the time this person leaves your life, you're feeling more empty than what you were feeling before they got into it. This is an encounter with one of the two. Let's debunk a few myths. Myth number 1, all psychopaths are serial killers. As you said, psychopaths can be charming and successful. They do not necessarily have to be serial or to engage in violent crimes, but they are indeed manipulative. Myth number 2, you can change a psychopath with love. Anybody can be changed with love, or all you need to do is kill them with love. Mpe mapenzi mingi, atabadilika ama atakupenda. They do not change because they lack the capacity to do so. As we have discussed, the problem that's happening is in their brain, it's in their processing. They lack the capacity to feel guilty, to feel fear, to feel love in the way that normal people feel it. So giving him or her more love does not help them change in any way. The only solution to this is getting yourself out of that equation. We'll move on to how to protect yourself. So now that you know the truth, how do you protect yourself from the psychopath, the sociopath, or the manipulator? Here are a few tips that I think will work. Set your boundaries, know yourself, know your limits, continue communicating your boundaries, continue communicating your feelings to people around you, and whoever's not for your boundary will end up drifting off. Remember that time apart does not equate an apology, so start from where you left off whenever somebody steps out and steps back into your life. The other way to protect yourself is to not engage them emotionally. These kinds of individuals feed off of your emotional reaction, so staying calm is the best way to dialogue, and staying away from anger or expressing yourself in an unhealthy way is part of what fuels these kinds of people. So stay calm, communicate in a healthy way, and yeah. My last strategy is avoid trying to change them. Avoid trying to change anybody in general. No amount of care or love will change their core. As you said, whatever is happening to a psychopath is happening in their brain. So unless you're a neurosurgeon, no amount of you trying to change them or loving them more will help. So now that you know the truth about psychopaths and sociopaths and how they operate in the world, do you think you've met or encountered one of these kinds of people? Do you think that you might be a psychopath or a sociopath? Comment below with your thoughts, or share a time in which you encountered manipulative behavior within a friendship or relationship or work environment. Let us know about it. Let's talk about it. Like, share, subscribe for more insightful videos on psychology, mental health, human behavior, and self-awareness. Today my co-host has been such a good boy throughout the video. Let's clap for him, give him a pink hat in the comment box below to encourage him to continue being such a good boy, such a good co-host. With that, we've come to the end of the video. We thank you for watching us till now, and with that, it's bye YouTube. Bye YouTube. Oh, bye YouTube.